Hello and welcome to the European Challenger Series Spring Split. I'm Richard Polscam and I am of course joined by James Stress O'Leary, and we're back with the third place match. This is the last chance for the teams to secure a promotion tournament spot. So let's take a look at the schedule for the next 2 days. Today we're going to be bringing you the third place match between Gamers 2 and Reason Gaming, and then tomorrow it's the EU Challenger Spring Split Finals between Origin and Copenhagen Wolves Academy.
Now that's not all, because later today in the North American Challenger Series, Final 5 take on Team Fusion to determine their third place team, with Enemy Esports taking on Team Dragon Knights in the NACS Spring Split Finals tomorrow.
That's a scary name to go up against, Dragon Knights. But if you want to catch up on any of the Challenger action from the Spring Split, head over to lolesports.com, and you can also join the teams live for the Grand Finals for either Challenger region. Check out the Tickets tab and book your seat in the Berlin or Santa Monica studio. But for now, to today's game and today's best of 3, because first off, Reason Gaming have been holding on to their second chance with everything they have. In the semi-finals, they managed to take Origin late game and even took a game off them, Stress. From our end, we feel like Reason Gaming, if they manage to play exactly how they did last week, then they can have a really strong chance of taking this series.
They could have a strong chance, but at the same time, Reason Gaming have kind of been a Jekyll and Hyde team when it comes to it. Throughout the split, Reason just haven't looked consistent at all. They've put great performances on in some of the games against G2. You can see the Take Fun here just going huge in that game. And we look at last week's game. Reason Gaming played actually a very strong defensive style against Origin's teamfight style, and it stalled Origin out. It even gave them a win in the first game. So Reason looks stronger than we've seen them before. And a team that weren't even meant to be in the playoffs really just denied Origin that easy path into the finals.
Yeah, I mean, they've just looked better and better since they were given that chance, because by all rights, Dignitas knocked them out of the tournament, but they have looked very good, especially against Origin in that series. As long as they can take it late game, I just feel the decision-making is so much stronger than the other teams now, that they've been putting in so much prep, that if they run a comp where they go mid-game, late game, they can just outthink their opponents.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's one of Reason's strengths, is their ability to drag it to the late game is actually something that's very difficult to deal with. You rely purely on decision-making from that point.
Yeah, I agree. And from Gamers 2, their performance has been far from exceptional. They got 2-0'd by Lowland Lions, who are now Copenhagen Wolves Academy. But that being said, Gamers 2 are a good team, and they've improved from week to week. But they just have games where they just can't get into the match. Yeah,
and that's a big problem here. When you're one game away from either being in the promotion tournament or just staying in Challenger, and Gamers 2 throughout the round robin and throughout the split really just should have been the team that should have been second.
Yeah.
There's a lot of should-haves, maybes, would-haves, could-haves. But ultimately, Gamers 2 just dropped a couple too many games here and there, and especially in their series last week, not really showing up. However, Gamers 2 are individually a strong team. You look at their top lane, jungle, AD carry of Jeebus. All of the players should be doing very well in theory, but their team play, or lack thereof of team play and coordination, makes it very difficult for them to close out games when they're not ahead.
Yeah, and that won't cut it against a team like Reason Gaming, who are all about making those decisions, having those great team fights. So against Gamers 2 here, they really just need to tighten up their gameplay. Yeah. I was speaking to the team, and they were talking about the team mentality, especially in the Mowers games where it was 0-2, and also the following as well, where they also went 0-2, that their team mentality is not good going into the games, but now they have staff behind them who's working through those issues. So we'll see if that actually comes through. And Jeepers is now in the gaming house as well, so they're all one big happy family.
Hopefully that fixes the issues that they've had, because they need to fix them right now.
Yeah, yeah, immediately. But let's take a look at those teams playing for third place. On the blue side, it is Gamers 2 with Smitty J in the top lane, Gilius in the jungle, Ica in the mid, with Jeebus and Hiva as the bot lane AD carry and support.
And over on the red side, possibly for one of the last times here in the spring split, it is Reason Gaming with Kuban in the top lane, Zayu in the jungle, Take Fun in the mid lane with Selva and Libic as AD carry and support.
Yeah, I'm very interested in how this game's going to work out, because as we mentioned before, guys, the team who wins here will take the final spot in the promotion tournament. We'll be facing either Rocket or Giants for a chance at qualifying into the LCS, with the loser not out of it Well, they're out of this season, but they'll be in summer, of course. So if they lose here, then they'll be straight back into the Challenger Series.
Yeah, and it's all about that promotion spot, though. At this point, no longer do you have a chance at automatic promotion. You have to fight your way through. But, I mean, it puts you at a potential 5 wins away from the LCS. That's all you got to think of and keep it in your mind is if a team from here wins 5 times in their next 5 competitive matchups, you've got an LCS spot. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Easy on paper. But I mean, how many times have we said that, and to bring it back to this matchup specifically, how many times have we said that Gamers 2 should, on paper, win this matchup? Or throughout the entire split?
Yeah, more times than I can count, Stress. So many times. I mean, even in the last week, I specifically said I have now put my faith in Gamers 2. Because at the start of the split, I was not sold. And then they got better and better and better. It's like, okay, guys, I'll give you this one. And then they went 0-2. So we just don't know when they're going to turn up. If they turn up here, I mean, great, but like you just can't tell if they will or not. And it's been 2 weeks of just not doing well, getting 0-2'd. And you think about how the promotion tournament's going to go. Rocket has the choice of who they want to go up against. If Gamers 2 do win here, I think that's a pretty solid choice to go Gamers 2. Whereas Reason, if they 2-0 here, they're pretty scary.
Yeah, it's a tough one because I think it's likely that Rocket would choose either of these teams when the other choice is going to be the loser of tomorrow's Origin versus Copenhagen Wolves Academy. Lowland Lions White now, Copenhagen's Academy. So, I mean, you wouldn't really want to pick either of those because they're scary for either way. And then G2 and RG have their own strengths. It's very difficult because all 4 of those teams are different. No 2 teams there are the same, and it's pick your poison. It's what do you want to get beaten by? Do you want individual strength from Origin? Do you team play from Copenhagen Wolves? But nevertheless, this is again Gamers 2 versus Reason. It's a game that Gamers 2 should, in theory, be out in a front.
They should. But let's get into the champion select and start all of this off for this best of 3. Okay, so Gamers 2 are on the blue side. They have that first choice and that first ban, depending where they want to throw this. Last time we saw the teams, they kind of just threw bans everywhere and see what happens. But now we're several weeks in. They've shown a lot of their hands.
The one consistent ban, though, has been Kubon's Irelia. In every game. In fact, the only time it really hasn't been banned was the first game against Gamers 2 because Gamers 2 didn't get any bans that game because they weren't on time. So that's the only time that Irelia has been available for Kubon, and lo and behold.
Very first ban today. As well, yeah. It's pretty safe as the first ban. It's just like, well, we don't want to play against your Irelia, Kubon. We've seen what it can do in the expansion tournament. We've seen what it can do throughout the round robin. Taking that one away. Annie is an interesting ban. Will be thrown against Hiva. All I've really seen of Annie, at least in the Challenger Series, is Annie getting caught and dying a lot. In the rest of the regions, of course, she's been super strong. Got the engage, of course, is great. Just in the Challenger Series, seems to be that bad charm. I
mean, she's started to drop back in the amount of time she's picked so often. A lot of teams are dropping them in favor of, you know, either be it the Threshes, you know, the sustained supports. We've seen the resurgence of Nami, a lot of Leona. There's so much diversity in that bottom lane role. Annie's still there, but not picked as much as possible. So it's a little strange that they'd take it away from Hiva.
Well, we have flashed out the rest of the bans, which will be Swajani, Rumble, Zed, and Nidalee, aimed at that Gilius, of course. I mean, Gilius has had some great games with Nidalee, and Morgana will be first picked by Gamers 2. So they have that nice flex, the ultimate flex. Could be top, could be bot, could be mid.
Yeah, this is basically what Unicorns of Love did in, I think it was games 2 through 4, for, or games 2 and 3. For their semi-final game against Gambit. It was eventually banned out in game number 4. It's a European strength. Here is this flexing Morgana, not seen too much over in the likes of LCK and a couple of the other regions as well. So it works for Gamers 2 because they can either put Smitty J on it or put it over to Hiva. Some teams are even running it in the mid lane, so there's a lot of versatility from this pick.
I don't really feel it's a Smitty J champion, but yeah, we could see it in Hiva. Of course, it was picked in the Unicorns of Love comp because Hillasang is a god with Morgana. He's just landing bindings, winning that lane that he really shouldn't have done. Really impressive. But we do have our first 2 picks here from Reason Gaming. It will be the Ahri, it will be the Gragas, and they are sitting firmly in that Gragas camp. Well, Shojani's also been banned as well. That leaves Rek'Sai open, ban out the Nidalee. Interesting to see where Gilius will go from here.
Yeah, and it's interesting to what jungle they're going to go for, but at the same time, over on Reason Gaming side of things, Take Fun Zed's banned away.
Yeah.
What's the next strongest champion for him? Probably Ares. They picked that up, and the jungle Greg is very likely, and that's 2 fast lock-ins from Gamers too.
It is. It is the Kog'Maw. It is the Lulu. So they are looking towards a Juggernaut composition here. They have the 2 shields already. Orianna is still open if they wanted to go down that route. Still have their jungler to go as well, even though we have seen a little jungle Lulu, but I highly doubt that's going to be the case. It looks like Smitty J might be picking up the Lulu. It could be the Morgana in support. Last time Smitty J played Lulu, had a lot of fun on that champion, just mashing those keys on Cog. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, that composition really worked out for them. Jeebus was just able to keep himself alive with the Cog, and he went huge. He had 20 kills by the end of the game.
It was that massive game with the quadra kill that we saw on our Tuesdays highlighted. So that has worked for Gamers 2 here. The other option would be Janna if they really wanted the Morgana somewhere else, but I agree with you. Yeah, exactly. That was what I was about to get to.
You're right up until that point. Yeah, so Janna has been picked up with the Tristana for Reason.
Yeah, exactly. As I turned away, it got locked in. So Tristana is going to give Reason a lot of scaling as well. It's a little less all-in on this one style of play. It's less put Kog'Maw at the front, or put Tristana at the front. This time it's just a appeal for Tristana in some sense with a disengage here from Gragas. But you brought up the Orianna. Orianna has been locked in. There were changes on 5.6, which is the patch we are on. So Athene's got a buff, easier to farm, more mana from the Athenes as well. So Orianna is coming back into the meta. Yeah,
we are seeing a lot of those Athenes being built nowadays, and we also have the Vi locked in, so they have some sort of front line. It isn't just Kog'Maw, so they do have all those shields and a Vi.
Interesting, because if they wanted to go full Juggernaut, Nunu is available. But I wonder, Nunu doesn't seem like a Gilius champion in the sense that Gilius likes to make some plays. Gilius isn't a defensive jungler, so I guess the pickup for Gilius is nice. It's just not a super straightforward Juggernaut comp. This will allow them to get a pick, however, and really get the Juggernaut going once they get a couple of kills under his belt. Looks like we're still looking for a top laner from Kuban, and Hecarim's made it all the way through the draft.
Okay, I'm interested in, I mean, they did first pick the Morgana. Of course, they were looking for this composition, so RG were safe to pick up the Hecarim very late into their picking phase. We've seen a lot of Hecarim in basically all the regions, seen a lot in Challenger with mixed success. Zaz's Hecarim didn't do a whole lot, but we have seen Hecarim also make some big plays. It'll be interesting to see how he does in this matchup, because he's typically strong into those melee matchups. Yeah,
typically strong into melee matchups, and at the same time, normally Hecarim's aim is to dive the backline to get right in there. The problem is when the backline's the front line with all the shields and health and Orianna Ball and Shockwave and all of this kind of stuff, how effective is Kuban going to be the later the game goes? Not so much. They have to get this Hecarim going earlier in the game before all of the shields and heals become prominent enough for Cog just to stand there.
Yeah, and they've also picked up the Tristana, so they're looking for some sort of late game to try and go toe-to-toe with the Cog, but if Cog gets ahead, and Jeebus we know he can, especially with the Vi, they're looking to get those lanes rolling, so I feel like we're going to see a lot in the early game trying to get those specific carries ahead, and then in the mid game just try and butt heads and see who comes out ahead.
And there's a lot here that can pick off Cog as he walks forward, potentially before the shields go on him. You look at a Gragas ult into an Ahri charm, any combination like that is going to pick somebody off before they can help Kog'Maw out. So there is still a lot on this Reason Gaming lineup to shut down the Juggernaut before it gets rolling. But if it gets rolling, that's dangerous territory. You're already into deep waters.
Yeah, like the kind of problem I have with Reason's comp here is it kind of does the same thing, but not as well. Because you have Dive into the back line, which is now the front line. You have a Tristana who will not go toe-to-toe with the Cog if he gets ahead with all these shields. I don't know, we'll see how it works out. I am just liking how Gamers 2 have set up. But as we load up onto the Rift, jump on Twitter and use the hashtags G2win or RGwin to vote, and we'll check in throughout the match on your opinions at home.
One thing about the Juggernaut comp, though, is it has kind of been almost the honey trap that teams have fallen into. It's the comp that Origin lost with twice. The only comp they've lost with, once was in the round robin, once was in Gamers Assembly qualifiers, excluding the Lowland Lions. So it's not the only 2 games, but still, it's been a difficult comp to pull off.
It has, but let's get into game and see how all of this works out. We'll see how the early game goes as we were talking about it. So we do have Gamers 2 now onto this blue side. It will be Reason Gaming in the red, and this series is so important here, Stress. The winner will be going into the promotion tournament. The loser will be going into the Summer Challenger series. So it's not all lost if they lose here, but a win would be fantastic.
So another reason this game is super important, and this is something we were discussing earlier about the Challenger teams, any of these two teams could still end up at Worlds. That's a long, long shot, but the path would be there. You get to LCS, you finish first in LCS, you're straight into Worlds. I'm not betting my money on this, but for any team that is wanting to be there this year, there's still a chance.
There's still a possibility, yeah. And wouldn't that be a rise to power? Coming in from the third place match all the way to Worlds.
I mean, H2K have been sitting very well in the EU Spring Split. We'll see what their growth is like Summer Split, but that's not to say that the likes of an Origin, a Lowland Lions, a Reason, or a Gamers 2, if they really, really just fixed a lot of the issues, could be there. But you can see already both teams have their strats planned out. Deep wards in for checking for the lane swaps in this matchup, and Gamers 2 are actually all going to recall back out of here, so it'll be interesting to see which team is the one that looks to initiate and who gets spotted out by the wards.
Yes, we do have Kuban as well, sitting on his Hecarim. He has gone for the Flask, of course, so he'll be going for most likely Wolves. It will allow him to get either boots or go for some more consumables, depending on what he likes to do. And we'll see what he'll do with this one. Typically, race is not quite enough to get you boots. Wolves will actually allow you to do that. So they do see Libic and Celiva going into the bot lane from Games 2. And Reason Gaming will be seeing Jeebus and Hiva going into the top jungle.
So neither team is going to end up in the 2v2 here at all. So it's going to be those 2 versus 1. So I guess Kuban's going to recall, get the cloth armor then this time, not the boots. Maybe just the extra pots in the ward. A lot of options here for Hecarim as you do this start. And I actually like to see that the top laners have started bringing more things into it. Hiva is reading this level 2 gank, or level 1 gank here into the middle lane.
Binding, juked out by Take Fun, very nice. Takes a couple autos, however, has to back off, but he still has both of those summoners, so it's not awful. And he puts down a little pressure. I mean, he has nothing else to do, really.
He's coming back again.
Coming in for round 2. Can he land the binding? There's the Q. There's the binding.
If at first you don't succeed, try and keep trying until you're at level 3.
Well, Libic has seen his counterpart do something. That's the charm landing there. That's how you hit skill shots. Libic follows up with the Zephyr. The auto attacks, the flash forwards as well. The first blood goes to Libic.
Great play. I mean, both supports wanted the same play there, but it's Libic that comes out ahead, and now he's going to be able to head back down to his partner in crime, Tristana, but both AD carries have actually started shoving this fairly quickly here. You can see Jeebus is pushing it into the turret himself. I wonder which team is going to get more damage here onto the turret early on, because it's kind of something we're seeing more and more now is these AD carries trying to bounce the wave, stop the top laners from teleporting in and getting a massive wave of farm, and then you just allow it to freeze back further in your lane.
We'll see if that is the case. Zayu is definitely heading into this bot lane, though, to maybe get the fast push off, or maybe just take the Krugs. Seems what Zayu is looking for currently. They are pushing this wave in towards them. Kuban in the top lane has finally returned, and he'll be trying to get some of that CS. Jeebus has, no, he's the only one left in the lane, but he'll still be able to get harassed down. He
actually opted for boots, which, if anything, tells me he's assuming he's going to be in a 1v1 situation. Yeah. He doesn't want the... he's not expecting a lot of trading here from the 2v1, so he's just fine to go, I'm going to go boots and hope you don't exploit this at all, because that's actually quite dangerous here, that he's only gone boots, no resistance. But this bottom lane tower is getting pushed down pretty quickly. Tristana, after the rework, has a lot of tower damage now. Yeah, explosive charge. There's so much damage against turrets. As the barrel. And here comes this next minion wave. It probably is enough to take this turret, especially with Janna with the shield. Smitty J gets knocked up, and Zayu will just punch away this tower. Now goes into Smitty J, but we do have Gideus here for the counter gank. There's the Vault Breaker. And they will be pushing them away. Not sure if they can quite get in range, but they do land the binding onto Libic. The team is not there to follow up, though. Smitty J and Gideus would have to pull a lot to deal with the damage to take down Libic. And they will back away. So first turret of the game does go to Reason Gaming, picking up that nice substantial gold lead to start off the game. Yeah, turret in exchange for a couple of summoners blown out of Reason. Celiva now has no summoners at all, so no heal, no flash. He's got to play this a little bit more carefully now, as he's you know, up against a lane that has a fair amount of damage, and if they catch Tristana, that could be potentially fatal. I wonder whether Reason are actually going to swap this around now and put Tristana up in the top lane. Kuban's actually having an okay time up there. He's getting farm. The problem is, so is Cog more, and the longer they wait with Cog, the ticking time bomb will certainly blow up as soon as he becomes that Juggernaut.
Very true, but Reason Gaming do have the early advantage, so as long as they can snowball that, they can stay on top of this composition from Gamers 2. Gilius has opted towards the Skirmishers, interestingly enough, for his jungle item. Zayu has gone for the Stalkers himself, has all the sustain in the world, does not necessarily need to go for Trailblazer. Gilius, though, has opted towards that.
Ooh, Jeebus finally turns his attention onto actually harassing Kuban and will force him back. Kuban has teleport available, so does Smitty J, in the event of wanting to swap these lanes around, but what's Kuban going to go for now? Actually opting for a Null Magic Mantle. So again, in a lane where he's up against a predominantly AD champion, he's not opting for resistances at all, and he's just banking on the fact that Jeebus won't want to trade, but we just saw how that trade went against him. He's expecting them to swap the lanes anytime now.
Yeah, he's going for the opposite resistance of what we would expect. We do have Hiva heading into this bush now, just staying in the shadows, as Gilius is also heading into the top lane, maybe trying to get gank down onto Kuban. And they will be pushing in this wave. This will have to be pretty slick if they are to pull it off. Kuban is almost 4 HP. He smells something, yeah. Puts the ward over the wall, but has not found Vi. No matter how this works out, Reason Gaming will pick up an advantage in the form of Dragon. So they need this kill to go down, and they need to probably take the turret on top of that. And all Kuban really needs to do is back away. I mean, Gilius does not have his ultimate, so yeah, the pony is out.
Kuban playing this one smart, knew he just couldn't sit in that lane. He doesn't even have that Hex Drinker completed yet, which of course will give him a little bit of damage and a little magic resist on top of it. Not enough, however, to sit in front of 3 people under that tower, as that tower is going to take a fair amount of damage. But down in the bottom lane, look at how much freedom Tristana's getting here. Already pushing Lulu all the way in towards this inner tower as well. Yes, she is behind on farm. Now the turrets are evened up. Ooh, Smitty J's going to trade with Celiva here. They're both level 5. But can't risk Celiva stacking up that bomb there on Lulu. It does far too much damage once you have those 4 stacks on it.
Yeah, what a lot of people forget is if you do get max stacks and you jump on them with a rocket jump and it doubles the whole amount of damage, which is quite a lot, it turns out, in the early game. Typically, though, she never actually gets to do that, so she's actually a fairly weak laner. But we do have Kuban, or rather, Take Fun and Iker in the mid lane. Have not really talked too much about them, as everything has been revolving around them in top and bot. But they are equal CS, and not too much has gone down just yet. But we'll see where Iker goes with his item build. Talked about the Athenians earlier. Top lane is still being pushed in by Reason Gaming. Gilius and Hiva are rotating in from the bot side. See if they can push them away from this turret. Kuban does have his ultimate. The other 2, however, are fairly low in terms of levels. There's a Lance, and Smitty J does enough to shove him away from the turret, so job done for now.
So there's the swap around of the lanes that we were expecting just a minute. Ooh, Shockwave in the mid lane, Charm hit too.
Comes out, Ignite also comes down, but I mean, Iker doesn't have any mana to follow up, so I guess it's just a warning shot. It's like, hey, get ignited.
And Take Fun had his ultimate available, so and Flash and Ignite, so that's not a fight that Iker really would have wanted in that situation, but Jeebus against Celiva right now. Celiva has to be careful. Sheen already finished on Jeebus. He's on the way to that Infinity Edge, the Triforce Spike, which is going to hit before Celiva's Infinity Edge here. So Celiva needs to be careful in this lane. He really cannot risk taking damage from those ultimates coming out of Jeebus if he can follow up as well.
The other thing is, I see both of these junglers as fairly similar in their playstyles in that they're pretty early game. They like to get an advantage in the jungle. If possible, trade against your opponent. Zayu just likes to be in the enemy jungle, but he's playing Gragas this time. Gilius did go for the Vi for early game pressure. We were talking about that in Champion Select. But so far, hasn't done a whole lot with it. Just kind of gone top and kind of played around the lane swaps rather than looking for ganks.
He's about to do something because he's just hit 6 as well off his red buff. If he doesn't sort of head to the bottom lane and just ult in and pick up a kill for Kog'Maw here, it will be a big waste of somewhat of a spike here in Vi's utility here. Libic's even out on his own. He wards over the wall to make sure Gilius doesn't come in through that line, which is actually just enough to save him for now, but Gilius is going to be making plays within the next minute or so.
Yeah, bot lane will be hard to make those plays, though, as Rocket Jump, Buster Shot, and Monsoon, which will be coming very shortly, plus the Summoner spells, is fairly difficult to get through. You might be able to burn a couple of those. Mid lane here might have better chances, especially with the Shockwave, but Ignite's still down for Iker. Depends where he wants to use it, but these lanes are not looking great and not really ripe for ganking currently.
Oh, looking at this mid lane, Ica has to respect the damage from Take Fun right now. He's sitting on a needlessly large rod there, and Ica has pieces of the Athene's Unholy Grail. So Take Fun, one charm landing onto Ica if their 1 versus 1 is enough. Pretty much to give Take Fun a free trade in that lane, and Ica does not want to give that over to him, but it looks like they're going to back away for blue buff. Between when he manages to get the Athene's Unholy Grail and that blue buff, Ica can just sit in the middle of the wave, Q out, E back in.
Yeah. So far both these teams have played fairly conservatively, which is, well, not entirely not to be expected. This is a game where there is a lot on the line. Reason Gaming are typically a team who will take it to mid-game and look towards the late game, especially with these compositions. The AD carries are predominantly looking at that late game, and we'll see what they do with it. We do have Smitty J coming now into the river, fighting over the crab. Zayo, however, has the smite, but chooses not to go for it, so this should be Smitty J's.
The problem with Tristana being behind in farm on Kog'Maw at this point in the game from the lane swap is the fact that you're always going to be chasing the power spikes of the Kog'Maw. And especially when you're running Juggernaut, you have different power spikes to a standard Kog'Maw was, because you're also getting the shielding spikes that your mid laner, your support are all giving you as well when they hit big items. So Jeebus will hit his Triforce before the Infinity Edge is completed. Then you'll get kind of a mid lane shield spike with the second item in comparison to Tristana getting her attack speed as well. So Jeebus, in theory, should stay ahead of Celiva for so long in this game that G2 should never fall behind.
That is the theory. Take Fun might have something to say about it, though, being able to assassinate him with the Ahri. However, he did get dropped very low and has burnt all his summoners, so that won't be happening anytime soon. Celiva gets harassed quite a lot with the Voidoo's. The Paul actually chooses to stand in front of it as well, and does get hit by the living artillery. Jeebus is already getting to the point where he's fairly strong. He'll be hitting that Triforce spike fairly soon, as you mentioned. Mid lane as well, Ica did get the better of Take Fun just in that small trade there. He has now gone for the Athenes, as expected. Do you see those mid laners now coming back? Gilius still has his ultimate, hasn't used it yet. He's had it for a whole level now. And top lane, Smitty J is ever so slightly ahead of Kuban, but nothing to write home about. He's looking towards the Morellonomicon, though.
And Kuban on the other side of things has got his home guard boots as well with those Mercury Treads, so look for those teleport plays when these team fights kick off. Dragon is coming up. That should be the next point of contention for both of these teams. You have to feel like if G2 can hit that Triforce spike before, they would be in good stead, but they're actually a good few hundred gold off. It's 900 gold on Jeebus right now. So he needs at least 200. Oh, Kuban's actually teleporting in bottom lane behind Gamers 2. This is dangerous.
He's looking for his explosive cast, comes in with the home guard, goes down to Jeebus, but good juke with the flash, doesn't even get anywhere near. Gilius now trades off against him on the front lines. Heaver does go down. Do they have anything in the tanks to come back in this? Smitty J did come into the fight with his own teleport. There's the ultimate onto Jeebus, but he's not strong enough just yet. He does get knocked away. Interesting mechanics as Celiva eventually knocks him down with the explosive charge. There's the double kill as well for Celiva. They should never theoretically fall behind, but plays like that from Reason Gaming will put them ahead.
So that's the thing. They shouldn't fall behind if they play safe, but Reason knew they had the teleport timing. Ica, wow.
Mid lane as well. There's the shockwave. 2 more charges left to Spirit Rush. He will be using the first. There's the second. Ignite goes down onto Take Fun. And indeed, Ica was not enough damage to take down either mid laner despite that fantastic charm. That is the Dragon now going over to Reason Gaming.
But that was great teleport timing from Kuban. They knew they had a weakened Kog'Maw at that point. He didn't have any good items. There was not enough shielding to keep him alive. And we talked about in Champion Select, Reason's comp wants to split G2 apart before they can get any of the shields on Kog'Maw and kill either the shielding champions or the Kog'Maw. And that's exactly what they did. That's a great 3 kills onto Celiva, which makes Celiva all the more deadly now in these fights.
Yeah, it was also a great teleport by Kuban. His ultimate burnt the flash from Jeebus, so he had no way of getting away after that. So, ult for a flash is absolutely what Reason Gaming want every day of the week. All they need to do is spend one of those ultimates. It could be an ultimate from Zayu as well. Those fairly low cooldown ultimates for a flash. It just means Jeebus is never able to get away. He has to be at that front line, and he has to stay and fight no matter how the fight goes. Now, Zayu is in his jungle. He has gone for that Cinderhulk, of course. Gilius has gone for Warriors. Nothing out of the ordinary. He'll be trying to jump on top of Celiva or indeed Take Fun. There's a lot of peel for that backline now. Will be fairly difficult to go against. And talking about items, Luden's Echo has been the first item for Ari, so looking for that early game burst of power.
It's also going to give them a good amount of wave clear here as well, on top of the sieging potential of Jeebus. So it makes Reason a little bit more versatile, and Reason now with 4 kills on the board to Gamers 2-0. G2 have a small window in which they can be behind before their comp really faces a lot of problems. You're looking at about the 2 to 3k gold mark at around 20 minutes. If you're further behind that, it's a bit of a problem, but we'll have to see how this game goes.
Yeah, and you guys at home definitely think that G2 have the advantage, 59% to 41. But that has certainly decreased. I mean, it usually was typically more for Gamers too, but their performances over the last couple of weeks has put a seed of doubt into people's minds.
Yeah, quite a large seed of doubt. It's starting to grow as well. The problem that Gamers 2 also have in this game is they haven't secured the first 2 dragons. And that's the other important part of a later game scaling comp like Juggermore, is you get to 5 dragons and you just roll over the enemy because that's your comp spike and your 5th dragon. Reason, on the other hand, they like going late game. They've got 2 dragons already and they're ahead with a Tristana. That makes for a very tough late game for Gamers 2 now. They've got to be very careful that they don't drop too many more kills, otherwise Reason are just going to run away with this.
Yeah, they are poised to potentially take this game. Gamers 2, though, are responding, keeping up the vision control. There has been a decent amount this game, especially with, well, Dragon isn't on the horizon, but they are keeping it up regardless. Jeebus trying to get the harass down onto Celiva. He is now 3-0. He's in pretty good shape, already has his own Infinity Edge, so he's trying to match those power spikes from Jeebus. And in the mid lane here, as Libic just carries on warding, do have Zayu heading into the top lane, trying to get something done, has been warded up. Kuban does get turned into a snowman briefly, follows up with the damage from Rampage, does not choose to dive the tower. Smitty J has his ultimate, but it won't be enough to keep him alive from all this damage. There's a Spirit Rush, there is the charm, there's the Orb of Deception, and Kuban as well for good measure. That is a very dead Lulu. The
reason they're playing around this Hecarim pick so well right now, and it's the problem that when we watched Maus play it, they weren't really doing anything with the Hecarim. He wasn't getting the right engagements, and they weren't playing around Hecarim's power either, but Reason are doing a good job of getting kills across the map with this Hecarim when they're able to. They do, however, drop a tower on the bottom side. It's traded top side to the one they weakened earlier, and 5-0 right now for Reason Gaming.
Yeah, they are taking a strong hold over this game. However, in terms of the tower objectives, Games 2 are always able to take something, while Reason Gaming are doing the same to them. Take for now seeding the middle lane, trying to get a charm off. A single charm right now with the amount of damage behind it with Zayu and Kuban typically means a dead person if it lands.
Now, Reason are going to have to throw a lot at this middle tower unless they can get a pick. With a pick, it becomes very easy, but with Orianna standing in front of that tower, just wave clearing, there's not too many ways you can brute force that. So G2 have to ward up exactly as Gilius is doing. The part that he hasn't done here, though, is de-ward the catwalks and the bushes around this middle lane. That's the other half of this, because a straight Ahri charm into a warded area could be enough to blow somebody up and take the turret. G2 have to play this safe.
Yeah, they have so much picking potential from Reason Gaming.
Oh, there's the charm.
There's the Orb of Deception, and the Luden's Echo takes Ica to 55% around that mark.
It's enough already that G2 now have to show Heaver and shove the lane so that Ica can look to back.
Because he's in killing range
Yeah,
now.
exactly. One more charm plus the ultimate would have been enough. This is now good de-warding out of G2. Reason, they've sent Tristana bottom lane and Hecarim up to the top lane, so they know there's no immediate pressure, so they can clear these wards. Nevertheless, G2 are trying to hold on. Ooh, that was a close charm there.
It is Jeebus, though, with the follow-up. Yeah, he's very fast with the shield, the help picks, and the whimsy, plus the extra movement speed he'll be getting from Ica, makes him a difficult threat for sure. Plus, they won't be able to CC him, as Black Shield was also a thing. Dragon is now 40 seconds away. Vision is being fought for by both teams. Pink Ward taken out in the mid lane, Pink Ward taken around in this tri-bush as well from Reason Gaming.
And this is good Dragon setup by Reason. Big wave shoved in the bottom. Big wave shoved in at the top. They know they have teleport available, as does Smitty J. So this is just the setup that you need to start looking for objectives. Jeebus is pushing out in this bottom lane. He has to be careful.
Oh, out from nowhere. Celiva also has the Buster Shot. Doesn't pull the trigger on it just yet. There's the Explosive Charge. That is a lot of damage.
Oh, that is exactly what Reason wanted as well. Double summoners right before a dragon comes up, and you may be looking for a fight here. First of all, Jeebus has to get to the fight. Second of all, he cannot miss position now in this fight at all. So Reason should, in theory, get this one fairly uncontested. As we said, Hecarim can teleport in. He's already recalled for that home guard buff should he want it. And there aren't exactly too many wards around for Reason that are on the flank of Gamers 2. So that is one benefit for Gamers 2 here. They've dewarded any entry paths for Hecarim.
This is just really well thought out by Reason Gaming. They've identified the Achilles heel of Gamers 2's comp, which is the Cogbore. If he can't escape, then you have basically nothing. And they're exploiting it every single time they go for an objective. You saw before when they're able to take it away, and just then when they used even Celever and Libic to take away both summoners.
Deja vu.
I feel like we've just seen this. However, this time, Jeebus doesn't have his summoners, and that means he's dead.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to throw down a little bit more analysis. The fact of the matter is, it's the same play all over again.
Yeah.
And that's just Reason Gaming knowing exactly where they can exploit G2. We said in Champion Select, if you shut the Cogmore down before he's able to get to the point where he's tanky from all the shields, they'll never get to the Juggernaut comp. You'll never get to the end goal.
Yeah, that is a serious issue, which they have to fix basically immediately if they want their comp to work. Because it doesn't matter how fed that Cog is. He can be 20-0 like he was last time. But if he gets caught, if he burns both of his summoners, then Reason Gaming will jump on top of you with Ari, Hecarim, and Salvo will detonate you.
The fact of the matter is, this game is going towards the late game regardless.
Yeah.
This game will be decided on late game decision-making. And so far, Reason's decision-making has been better. That's not to say they've won this game already. Neither team has this in the bag because how both of these compositions are. Just in the fact that, as you said, late game team fights will win. But G2 haven't really picked up anything in this game so far. And that's a big problem. No dragons, no kills. Only 2 towers from the tower pushing game.
It's like we said in pre-game stress, Reason Gaming's decision-making when it gets to mid and late game it just seems to be superior to, I would say, pretty much every single team that is still in the playoffs. You take a look at Origin, we've talked about how they are carries, they are not decision-makers. Gamers 2 as well, right now, you can even see it in action right now, they are just outthinking them. So Reason Gaming, they really have that strength, and it is difficult to play around if you do not also go toe-to-toe with that ability from Reason Gaming.
G2, however, have one good point to this current moment in the game. Now that Jeebus is past level 11, they have that big spike from the second rank ultimate from Cogmore. So if they can use that to siege, that'll be a very effective way of pushing Reason in. You can see Ica has a lot of damage as well.
They could take fun. Take fun. He goes down. That is a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. This pick will allow them to get the middle turret.
Yeah, G2 knew that was their time to group. They had the items. They had the items. The level spike as well, but Celever meanwhile is taking an inner turret, so already Reason have the benefit so far, but this turret's going to die very quickly.
It will. How much can they get off this 1-3-1 push? Well, Kubon is in base. They take the middle turret as well. Fantastic. Kubon does have his teleport though, and indeed home guard. He's waiting for it. He's hovering on the fountain just in case they want to pull the trigger. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Celever is still pushing.
And the teleport came
he's
through.
going to take the inhibitor turret, and Smitty J, they do go for this fight in the mid lane. Zayu, he will go down, but all they're trying to do is delay the recalls because there's nothing Lulu can do to stop Celever. He might just take an inhib here. They need to close in behind him. He now chooses to back off as he clears out the minion wave. He still has all his summoners. He has all the ways to get out of this. He'll turn around onto Smitty J. He can just burst him down. There's the knock-up. The follow-through as well. Looking for the last auto attack. Should be able to get it. Buster shots him down. Now he has to face the wrath of the Cogmore. It will chase him over the wall. There's the follow-up with the ultimate, and Gilius should be able to punch him to death. A great ultimate by Libic. Doesn't actually knock them away though, only heals him for a little bit. There's the ultimate coming in. Gilius finally takes him out of the excessive force, but they got so much from that. They were just chasing that goose all the way around their jungle, and Take Fun will just take your mid lane.
Celever got so much from that push, so that all started with 2 towers apiece on the scoreboard. So what happened was Gamers 2 take 2 turrets in the middle lane. Celever takes bottom lane 2 turrets, and now Reason get the outer turret as well. Reason come out ahead on the turret game. Gamers 2 got a good few kills in that trade as well, so that'll help them with their itemization. But again, this is just pushing us to the point where both of these later game carries are starting to get very scary. You can see that even Jeebus, while being quote-unquote behind from earlier in the game, has a lot of damage now that he has his 2 items completed, with those ultimates falling from the sky as well. Celever on the other side has a BF sword on top of his already Infinity Edge and Static Shiv, so both of these teams have got to respect the AD carries.
Yeah. But Celiva is always, bizarrely, the split pusher of Reason Gaming. We saw it actually in their series against Origin in Week 2, where he was on Graves and he was just pushing their mid lane. And he's always the one making the split push pressure over Kuban, who has the teleport.
Yeah, I mean, Kuban with the teleports as well is a big point. You look at that last engage, he teleports in, couldn't actually get the engage from the side with the Hecarim either.
Zayu, you have been caught, sir. He can get away. There's a lot of damage from Jeebus. Comes through. Oh, he'll flash over the wall. That was an aggressive flash. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because he secured the kill, but that's your defensive summoner. I
mean, this is entirely reliant now on the rest of the fights.
Yeah.
The subsequent fights that follow, if Jeebus needed that flash, that's when you can start saying worth, not worth.
Yeah.
Jeebus' ult would have hit then, but you are against a Gragas who's mobile with a lot of other people around. Again, the rest of the fights.
For now.
For now, yeah. Unless he dies like 3 times while this flash is down.
I want to kind of touch on the itemization, though, because looking at bot lane, that's an item I have not seen for a while. Zeke's Herald coming in from Libic. That will be increasing the attack speed of Celiva for sure.
Yeah, Zeke's Herald is an item that just you see once in a blue moon.
AD right now.
Yeah, lifesteal and attack damage. 10% lifesteal, 20 attack damage from that Zeke's Herald. So if ever there was a note that Celiva is one of the main focus points here, it is going to be that Zeke's Herald is just going to be there to keep Celiva alive. Not sure how I particularly feel about that as regards to some of the other support itemization that we've seen. I guess a Mikhail's isn't super crucial at this point. It's only really a binding, and Heaver's actually caught.
Dragon's gone down, but Reason Gaming go for the engage regardless. There's the ultimate going through onto the front lines. A good shockwave onto 2. Will be following through with the Gilius ultimate as well. Take foot off to the side. Picks up 1, looking to move on to Iker as well. The rest of the team is lagging behind, but uses the last charge to get away. Foxfires comes up. Iker continues to follow, gets hit by Ludens. He'll flash forwards. There's the auto as well. And the rest of the team isn't able to close in around the Orianna. That was a 2-4-0, but the Dragon going over to Gamers 2.
A very important Dragon for Gamers 2 to pick up there, because that prevents that 4th Dragon tipping point that Reason Gaming would have been on. However, Reason will push the inner turret here as well. And they find themselves in good stead. They can't rotate bottom yet to get that inhibitor that was exposed earlier because of the lower death timers right now. But Reason are still in control of this game.
I just want to say how Reason Gaming have improved over the last couple of weeks, Stress, because we were looking through their round robin and they were hit and miss, and very miss towards the end of it. Oh, Zayu goes into the wrong bush. But still, yeah, Reason Gaming the last couple of weeks have looked so incredibly good and have gone from strength to strength. I mean, they have the percent damage from Cock. It will die fairly quickly, but with Reason Gaming around the corner, maybe not the wisest of decisions.
The other problem is G2 haven't set this up. Bottom lane is pushing in towards them when they have an exposed inhibitor. Top lane is pushing in their favor. But the wards in the jungle behind them is exactly what Kuban wants now that his teleport is available right now. Just about. There it is. Now his teleport is available. Those wards are what will lose you a fight. If you do not clear out behind you and on your flanks against a teleport Hecarim, just no way can you really guarantee you're going to win a fight.
Yeah.
Especially when your Kog'Maw still doesn't have flash available. Had a minute and a bit on that cooldown.
Yeah, we're still thinking about that point from earlier. Was the flash worth it? You have 1 minute.
He hasn't died yet. He hasn't died yet.
Exactly. He has
I'm
1
not
minute
going to call him out. He got the kill. He needs the extra items. I'm letting him off on that one.
I'm not letting him off until it's off cooldown.
Hey, it's your battle to fight.
Yeah, it is. Because if we get into a team fight and Kuban jumps on top of him and he dies because he doesn't have flash, it's not worth it. It wasn't worth. Okay, we'll see. But for now, it was. Let's see what Kuban's going to do. He's got the teleport, so he heads into the bot lane, going for the 4-1 currently. Celiva, he's saying, take a step back. I know you like split pushing, but you really should be with the team.
And Kuban now, who do you send to fight him from Gamers 2? Who goes in the 1v1 against a Hecarim that has Triforce and a Spirit Visage with Mercury Treads as well? There's so much AP on the side of G2 that nobody can reliably force Hecarim away. So it has to be Smitty J from the teleport standpoint. But if a fight kicks off, Smitty J is like one of the champions that is going to be able to protect Jeebus the most because he's the Lulu. That you need the wild growth and the polymorph and the shield and everything to keep him alive. So it's a very difficult choice now on how you play around Kuban and how Kuban pushes. I want to see Reason continue to shove top in, continue to split push in the bottom lane with that exposed inhibitor, and just never really engage on G2. Just always be around for presence, always continue your warding patterns and de-warding, force G2 to sit there and not really be able to do anything.
Right now, Kuban has gone back to base. He has the home guard available. He is looking for a chance to go in. He has 5 different entry points behind them. And it's just a question of, can they murder them before Smitty J jumps into the fight? He's got 4 seconds.
Not with Celiva up in the top.
Yeah.
That's the one issue they have. Also, just to note, every time Kuban goes back to prepare for a fight, it's 1, very obvious, and 2, releases pressure across the map. It allows Smitty J to clear the wave out in front of him. So they may just have to be a tad greedy here and do this without the home guard if they get forced into it. If Reason can actually bait G2 deeper into the Reason jungle, it will still work for them because the amount of pressure is still the same on G2 because of how far they're pushed up. But as yet, G2 are staying fairly reserved, which is exactly what they need to do so they don't get baited.
Every couple of seconds, you'll see Kuban just stay still and wait for the teleport. But remember, you have to be 10 seconds ahead of the fight.
Yes.
Because you have to recall, which already takes 8 seconds.
Yeah, that's the difficulty.
Yeah.
Setting it up. And as I said, it's a tad obvious as well. But very effective when you see it done.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of the times we've seen Hecarim in the LCS as well. Look at Kuban pushing up already onto the inhib.
He's drawing attention. They're sending 2 people towards him. Ica and Bo Gilius are heading towards him. They only commit Ica. He's still going for that inhib. As long as they can take him down. Oh, Take Fun taking so much damage in from Jeebus. He will get exhausted trying to get on top of him. But this is a 4v4. There's the jump. He will get the smash down. Oh, and Take Fun blows him up. Also, Celiva over the wall. No one can get near him. That's a 7-1 Tristana deleting your team. Take Fun as well tries to get into this fight. Gilius now jumping away. The ultimate has to be used on top of their jungler, and meanwhile they've just left the horse in the bot lane to take the inhib.
Great all-in bait by Reason Gaming. They're like, we're starting Baron because we have to show that we're doing it, so you actually come to us. We can't just stand around, there's too many wards here, and G2 had secured the crab vision as well, so Reason had to say, we're doing this. Here comes the teleport in from the base, so this is Kuban about to go huge if they can get into this fight. Looks like they don't want it. They want to take Baron instead, which I think is a very smart choice right now. Yeah,
they're still pressuring though. Gamers 2 are on the doorstep. Gilius jumps in, tries to get the smite down. There's an ultimate only onto Celiva, but he might be the person they need to kill. There's the rocket jump. There's the reset as well. Jumps back into the fight. Smitty J is out of mana. You have nothing to do. He does get shielded though, but will he pop? No. He has his he has shield.
Ooh, Zayu dropping low.
Calculated.
So that was a good force situation out of Reason Gaming. They didn't want to be kind of standing around not doing a lot for a while. Kuban was getting good work done in the bottom lane. They knew that Celiva was very strong at that point as well before the fight. So they start the Baron knowing they were in full vision, peel away from it as soon as Gamers 2 step into the river and then take the fight. They know Smitty J has to teleport in, which gives Kuban the inhibitor, and then Kuban can back to base, teleport in to secure the Baron. Good calculated play out of Reason Gaming.
Celiva hasn't been back yet, and he just picked up a lot of kills. Yeah. I'm wondering what he's going to be picking up and how much gold he has. He'll be, yeah, he's already incredibly strong. He's already
set on
very...
3K.
That's a big item, straight up. Yeah, and he's already ahead of Jeebus, and there's a Last Whisper. So he's currently sitting on 4 items compared to 2.5 from Jeebus. I'm just trying to think of ways where Gamers 2 can come back into this one, Stress, because Reason Gaming, they've outfought them at pretty much every step of the way. They've got the Baron, they just took the Dragon, now 4 Dragon pressure. They have everything going in their favor.
The problem for G2 was their composition could afford to be a little bit behind. But against the Tristana, you fall this far behind, especially after Cog had the better lane swap phase. We were kind of expecting Cog to stay ahead, but it was that bottom lane fight that gave Celiva 3 kills that just made Celiva far too difficult for G2 actually to handle. And now G2 have to just dig in deep and hope that this Tristana isn't strong enough to just roll over everybody, which unfortunately she is. And Celiva has had a great game here. This is going to take one do-or-die fight, and I don't know whether Jeebus has the damage. Look at that explosion damage onto the turret. That's another exposed inhibitor.
Yeah, he's 8-1. Every single other member of his team only has 1 kill. So you can see where the kills have been going this game for Reason Gaming. Mid lane is pushing in, top lane's pushing in, bot lane's pushing in. Reason Gaming have really been playing the waves well as well. I mean, we haven't said that about too many challenger teams. We've been like, you need to push that, you need to push that. But Reason Gaming have been all over it. They've played it by the book. They've got the wards. They went for the dragon, and I can definitely see them. I can see them twice.
Hey man, it's all good, but
Gamers too.
I mean, Reason have managed this map control very well against a composition that really needs to be as 5 to fight, which is one of the Achilles heels of the Juggernaut composition. It's very, very strong when you fight as 5 while you're even or slightly behind. But,
however, Kubon is on their Nexus turrets, and no one is dealing with him. There's a big super minion wave there, and they do go for the initiate. All he needs to do is just carry on killing their base. Gilius is on the back foot. Kubon now comes into the fight. There's the ultimate, lands onto 2, kills 1, looking for more. The Spinny J will head down as well. That is 3 for 0, and they are just closing in for the kill. All of a sudden, they just crack the base, and they just go in for the jugular. Reason Gaming this game stretch have looked so incredibly impressive. 15 to 4, 11 towers to 4. Reason Gaming come out with the first win in this best of 3 in this third place match.
They look great this game. Reason Gaming, this is the same Reason Gaming that we saw against Origin, just with a little bit more spice, a little bit more kick to them to get them ahead in the game. And you know, G2 played the map well to begin with. They got Kog'Maw ahead in farm. That's exactly what you need with a Juggernaut comp. Problem is when you've got a scaling AD on the other side who picks up 3 kills before 10 minutes, that's very tough to balance that game.
Yeah, and I will say right now, I said that I didn't like Reason Gaming's comp. They proved me wrong. I will call myself out on that, and they just performed so well in that game. They literally did everything. We said that towards the end of the game. They managed the waves, they managed their wards, they managed all the dragons, they managed the objectives. They put the power spikes in the right times. They went for fights. What more can you ask? Yeah,
still, I'm not going to undo any of their work because they look very good. Still minor mistakes, very small little things.
It is nitpicking,
when it's at that point, that's actually a great sign for Reason Gaming because they used to have glaring mistakes. Yeah. And now that you have to put a microscope up to see where Reason went wrong in that game, that's a great improvement on their the round robin split that we've had. I mean, Reason Gaming, I don't want to say they won that game with the bottom lane engaged, but certainly that turned the game on its head.
Well, you got the ball rolling for sure, Stress. So, yeah, and we head into the second game very shortly. But Gamers too, I mean, they didn't look as bad. They didn't look bad like they did in the last 2 series. They just got outperformed by Reason Gaming. And if they're just not as good, what do they do? Because their original composition now, they tried the Juggernaut. Do they go standard now? Do they try Juggernaut again? Is it just the matter of the fact that the first game didn't play out for them? Is it their composition?
There's a lot of questions. Yeah. There's a lot of questions, and I personally feel like they should go back to what they've been winning with, the more, I guess, earlier game focus compositions that they've been playing.
Get Gilius rolling.
I'm not saying that Juggernaut is too hard because we've seen challenger teams pull it off before, but it's so much on decision making. That bottom lane fight, they didn't read the teleport, and just a couple of fights like that where the warding wasn't swept away. They had a couple of charms too many. There was just too many times where you weren't grouped as 5. When they did group as 5, they took the 2 middle turrets and actually did a really good job around the composition, but they never really got to the point where Kog'Maw was that massive tank that he ends up being with all the shields. So if you don't get to that point, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, they made the early game decisions. Yeah. As you mentioned, they traded tower for tower when they got picks in different lanes. They didn't manage to get the dragons. Where they picked that 1 dragon, which stopped the 5 dragons. Ultimately, it didn't matter because the dragon and the Baron got taken by Reason Gaming. But yeah, it's a difficult series to come back from. They need to win 2 on the bounce now. Well, we're going to take a quick briefer, but when we get back, Reason Gaming and Gamers 2 will return to the Rift. We'll be back in 3.5.